As you can imagine, we're very concerned about any cuts in mental health funding for ATCIC and any other mental health center really in the state of Texas, because we believe it will exacerbate an already overburdened, costly criminal justice system. These costs are borne by both the counties and the state of Texas in the form of law enforcement, courts, jails, and prisons. Setting aside the personal misery endured by the mentally ill and their families, preventative mental health services are just more cost-effective. I'm very concerned that the money, the reduction in mental health services will impact the number of patients in the state hospitals, both on the civil and forensic sides. Already, the 2 to 3 month waits in jail for forensic beds are unconstitutionally long. I regularly sign dismissals on criminal cases because the defendants accused of Class B misdemeanors have been in custody for the maximum sentence of 6 months. These defendants are still incompetent and mentally unstable when the hospital receives the dismissal. In order for the hospital to continue to hold them, they must be civilly committed. As of Tuesday, we have a defendant arrested for evading arrest who was found incompetent to stand trial in October, early October, who is still waiting for a bed at the Austin State Hospital. I've got 21 people with misdemeanor cases pending waiting to go to the Austin State Hospital right now. The Department of State Health Services has done, I believe, as best it could. I think that the Outpatient Competency Restoration Program is an example of a way that you can use your dollars more wisely. I also think that permanent supportive housing for mentally ill persons, both leaving the state hospital and the criminal courts, would be a great cost savings to the state of Texas. And with that, I will leave you to ask questions.
On average, when there's an individual, as you said, with Class B misdemeanor, that would spend 6 months. You had to sign them out.
I had to dismiss their case.
Okay. How soon before you see them again?
One of the reasons we started the mental health docket was so we could get a handle on the recidivism, which is quite high. Which is about what? The recidivism level?
Percentage of recidivism, yes.
I cannot tell you the exact percentage of recidivism for the mentally ill population right now. But I can tell you that we routinely have folks arrested that are incompetent to stand trial. They get arrested for criminal trespass. Some people, we know that they're relatively harmless. They're just very ill, and we dismiss the cases because there is really no point in incarcerating them for a long period of time because they'll just be right back. And so we cut our losses. We try to refer them to services. Whether they get those services, usually they don't. Usually they're back. I have one gentleman that gets arrested for criminal trespass and for calling 911. We see him almost on a weekly basis.
Is the mental illness with this population, is it discriminate to one cohort, homeless, or one ethnic population, or one economic population, or?
No, and I will say one of the things that is really difficult for me as a criminal court judge is when I see a young person coming in who has been recently diagnosed with, say, schizophrenia or another serious mental health disorder, and I know what their road is going to be. And there is no real discrimination that I see. I will say that the more severe your mental illness, the more likely it is that you're going to be homeless. And that's why I think that it would behoove us to look into supportive housing for those populations. I think it could be a really major cost savings.
And I'll pose this question to you, although it's a different agency. It's one I would have posed yesterday had you been here for Child Protective Services budget discussions and Department of Family Protective Services budget. But other prevention services were cut, and in those other prevention services were programs that deal with mental illness and the identification of mental illness with the youth. What type of impact do you think that will have on the system with the children that you see on your docket?
I only see adults. However, 17 and up is an adult. So I will tell you, I see foster kids all the time. We have foster kids coming in, and I can't imagine that it would do anything but increase the numbers.